Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unknown Comics Podcast, episode 37. I'm Brandon. That's Tanner. That's Michael.
Hey.
Hi, Michael. And we are here. We are here to entertain you. Are you not entertained? I've had a lot of soda today.
I still need to see that movie.
Gladiator? It's great.
Yeah, never seen it.
It's one of the first movies I bought on DVD when I got my surround sound system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. It's good stuff. It's good sub. All right. Hope everybody's having a great evening. If you're watching live or not live in the evening, you know, YouTube and all that jazz.
It's evening somewhere.
It's evening somewhere. That's true. All right. So, so let's go ahead and first off, welcome, Michael.
Hey.
How are you
Thanks. I'm good.
Good.
Glad to be
You're
back.
catching up to Darren a number of episodes you've been
Yup.
on.
Apparently.
So that's okay. He's a busy guy. He's making us money at cons. That's what matters.
That's fair.
So he is back from Miami.
Yeah, so we went to Boston and then Miami. He's back.
He's back right now, but
Chris is in Dallas.
and he's not going to Dallas. Darren's not. Or
Not to my knowledge.
oh, okay, gotcha. The schedule's all monkey.
I think he's taking the weekend off.
Gotcha.
What's
Good
next?
friend.
Do we know?
After Dallas,
Denver at some point.
yes, and I don't know.
Motor City at some point.
Are we going to Emerald City and C2E2?
That is still up in the air.
Still up in the air.
Is Detroit in the air too?
That's Motor City.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Motor City. And I think I think we're good to go on that one.
Are we? Good. Awesome.
I know
So-
one of our retail guys is supposed to go with them to that. so-
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you may have noticed, you probably saw an ad when you logged in. It's because we're an affiliate now on Twitch. But we're gonna kind of up our Twitch game a little bit. We're doing quite a bit more content. For the past few weeks, we've been doing Magic Live on Friday evenings, and we've been doing box break sales. So if you're a Magic player and you want to really kind of it's a neat way to split a box with other people, right? So it's akin to, you know, six buddies buying a booster box together, and one person says, I want all the whites out. One person says, I want all the reds, blues, blah, 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 blah. And you split the cost, and what you get's what you get. So
Yeah,
it's
we have several options on the website.
yeah, so we've got 5 sets up right now. A Zendikar Rising set, Kaldheim, Strixhaven, and then we've got Modern Horizons 2. I've got a 6-pack of collector boosters because to do a full 12 display, even doing a 6th of those is still pretty pricey.
Yeah.
But the collector boosters there's value in them, and especially Modern Horizons 2 is huge. And then we do have tomorrow, so we open it up. We do have a Midnight Hunt, Innistrad Midnight Hunt set, which goes into pre-release tomorrow, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
So, like, we have all these options on the website, and you have the opportunity to buy them. Once we have sold 50% of the slots,
Yes.
we'll actually bust it open.
Spots. I have rebranded them as spots because slots it just sounds dirty. So it's all rebranded as spots now. Yes, once we sell 50% of the spots, we'll go ahead and break it live on stream. That's what we're doing on Friday nights. And if we're not breaking boxes, we'll be talking Magic. We'll be playing. We're just making a whole show of it going into Friday Night Magic. So that's pretty cool. We'll keep doing our podcast Thursday nights like we have been as best as humanly possible. And then Tanner, we're adding 2 more Twitch shows.
Yeah, so starting next week, we're going to be streaming 4 days out of the week. Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Central, I'm going to be doing a hobby hangout, and you guys can come hang out with me and chat while I paint up some stuff for the store. Next week, I'm going to be working on the terrain out of the new Kill Team,
The Octarius Kill Team.
box. So, and then on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central, you can join me and Chris, and sometimes Darren if he's here, and we're going to be talking comics.
Yeah, and never me. Because I have a real job. Womp womp. And periodically, and I've done it before, you know, I'll probably break in from the house and PC game stream and stuff like that, you know. So we're trying to add more content to Twitch, more value for your follow. So definitely tune in and check us out on Twitch because we're doing a lot of it now. So
Yeah.
yay. So we alluded to it earlier. This week, for game nerds, is the Innistrad Midnight Hunt pre-release. And for those that aren't familiar with Magic, they do this thing where technically the set doesn't come out this week. It comes out next week. But a week early, they do a pre-release event. So technically it really comes out because you can still buy some product. You just can't buy all the product. Michael, what is a pre-release?
So you've got your pre-release event, and then you've got your pre-release sales.
Right.
With the pre-release sales, you can usually get draft boosters and set boosters, depending on the set. Sometimes commander decks.
Yeah.
But then you've got your pre-release kits that are actually for the tournaments, and so you
and
come in,
they have draft boosters in them.
Yeah. You get, I think, 6 draft boosters, and then you also get a promo card that specifies the release date of the card usually. And those usually are valued at a little higher, and they're guaranteed to be decent cards at least.
Yes, generally. Yeah, they're in the rare, mythic, rare.
Yeah, and then you get your spin down dice, your life counter, and a little sheet that gives you a breakdown of how to build a 40-card deck. Yep. And everybody cracks their packs at the same time, opens them up, throws them together, makes a deck of about 40 cards out of it, and we provide lands. And then you go through the tournament, and usually there's some sort of prize associated with it. Just kind of depends on which LGS you're at. And
our store specifically will do gift cards, and you can buy more packs with those gift cards, or you can buy comics, whatever you want to do. We give you the option. We don't force you into specific prize. We'll give you cash. It's just like what you ask your grandparents for Christmas. You don't want them to buy the present, just give me cash. I'll go get what I want. It's a fun tournament. They're meant to be laid back. They're meant to be casual. Wizards has always envisioned it as it's kind of your gateway into Magic as a pre-release event, right? They very much encourage that, if somebody new is playing, experienced people, go help them build their deck. Go help them, show them how to build on a curve, where, what to look for as far as, different card types and stuff like that. Because it can be a little intimidated. Sealed is definitely the more forgiving limited event than draft, because you don't have that draft meta game on top of it, right? Because that's a game in of itself, right?
Definitely.
Talking so fast, I'm losing my breath. So it's fun. This set and this setting for Magic is really cool. This is probably one of my favorite settings.
Yes.
That they've gone to. Ravnica's cool. It's kind of one of the big ones. But Innistrad is their gothic horror set. So if you're a D&D player, think Ravenloft. It's very much they share a lot in common. And as a matter of fact, they did a supplement where you can actually take Ravenloft content and basically port it into Innistrad, and they'll take certain Ravenloft characters and they can substitute. It's almost like you just scratch out their name and put this person in its place, because it fits so well. The whole premise is it's this gothic Victorian horror, vampires and werewolves and Frankensteins and zombies and all that jazz. But we've Magic has been to Innistrad. This will be the third time that it's been to Innistrad. The first time we went was Liliana, basically trying to get to a demon, and that's when we meet Sorin for the first. Is that the first time we meet Sorin?
I think so.
Or was that Zendikar? I don't remember. There's a lot of lore in Magic.
Yeah.
And does she team up with Geralt and Gisa to assault Thraben?
I think
there's a large city that she's trying to get at because she's trying to get to this demon that she basically owns part of her soul.
Yeah.
And so she's basically trying to kill the demon.
Is that Belzenlock?
Grizzlebrand.
Grizzlebrand. Okay.
And one of the 4 demons that owns a part of her soul. And so she's going at, I don't know if he was the first one. He was one of. That's all I remember. And so she basically convolutes this plan to have these 2 necromancers assault this city so she can get at it.
Yeah.
And in doing so, I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time since I've messed with original Innistrad lore. Sorin had already created Avacyn. Yeah, Avacyn's already there.
He created Avacyn to be the protector.
Yeah, he
from
created
all the darkness.
He created her when planeswalkers were still godlike.
Yes.
Right? And so he had the power to create. He created her and created this demon prison called the Hell Vault. And so when Avacyn would, because the problem is she'd kill demons and they'd come back. And, people would kill demons and they'd come back and threaten. And so Avacyn was an archangel that he created as a vampire to actually protect humans from vampires. Because he knew that if he left the other vampires on Innistrad to their whims, they'd eat their food supply out.
Yeah.
And they'd all die.
Along with the werewolves, the zombies,
like the
all the dark creatures.
He had to preserve the balance, right? He really doesn't care about the humans. He really doesn't care about anybody.
That's fair. Except Avacyn and himself.
Yeah, and Innistrad. He cares about being the Lord of... He takes a lot of pride in being the Lord of Innistrad.
Yeah.
Self-proclaimed. And so, basically, Avacyn was his way to take the balance. There were angels already. He created like this uber powerful angel.
Okay.
So they assault and Grizzlebrand is released. And does Liliana defeat Grizzlebrand? And when Grizzlebrand is dying, he throws Avacyn into the Hell Vault.
Something like that, yeah.
And she gets trapped in the Hell Vault. And that's where Innistrad kind of leaves off.
Yes.
That she's gone. So now Innistrad's like up for grabs. The vampires are going to go crazy because there's nobody to protect Innistrad anymore.
And I think we see Jace a little bit in that set too.
Yes.
Or maybe it's the second set. He comes.
No,
to visit
he
Liliana.
comes in shadows.
Yes.
Yeah, he comes in shadows. So yeah, we fast forward. So that was 2011 when the Innistrad set, and then Dark Ascension and Avacyn restored.
Yes.
Yes. So she gets out.
Yeah, there's shadows.
She gets out of the Hell Vault. She comes out of the Hell Vault in the same set.
And it kind of messed with her.
Yes, she didn't come out the same.
She's a little.
And you find out why.
Yeah.
So you fast forward in 5 years, in 2015, 2016, they released Shadows over Innistrad, the next set. And this set I'm more familiar with because this is kind of when I started following the lore a little bit closer. So Shadows over Innistrad, Avacyn's back, and like there's churches erected to Avacyn. That the humans pretty much worship her because that's her, that's their protector. And she basically starts kind of going crazy, like from the get-go, and it's just really weird. Like she stops caring about humanity. She finds them very fleeting.
She almost becomes like alien.
Yeah.
Like there's some other voice in her head.
Yeah. She just doesn't understand. Come to find out, and this is why I think we had seen Sorin before Innistrad. No, because Innistrad came out before Zendikar.
Did it?
Yeah, because he's very tied to Zendikar
Okay, yeah.
because of Nahiri and the Eldrazi. So Sorin's a planeswalker as well. He's a vampire, but he's also a planeswalker. Becoming a vampire.
That's my favorite.
Him becoming a vampire sparked his planeswalker spark.
Oh, okay.
Because generally planeswalker's a lot like a mutant.
Yeah.
Like
Something has to happen for the power to...
And usually it's like a tragic emotional response, and then they spark and become planeswalker. And when they spark, they immediately planeswalk.
To a random place.
To a random place. It never says where Sorin... He's an old planeswalker, so you never really hear his planeswalker
Because he's
origin.
part of the Markov family, which is the oldest random vampires.
Yeah,
Edgar
his grandfather
created vampire.
Yeah.
Vampirism.
And so he becomes a vampire. Becoming a vampire sparks him. So he's one of the few undead planeswalkers.
Undead-ish.
Undead-ish.
Vampires are weird in Innistrad.
Yeah. And so he travels. He's pretty much a loner. He just kind of does his thing. He kind of finds these causes that seem very random. Like why he thinks something's important versus why he doesn't.
He almost seems to always side with underdogs.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're tragic. Let me help you.
Yeah. Like everything's just kind of a pet project to him.
Yeah.
So he in his travels, he travels to a land called Zendikar. Zendikar is, I don't know.
It's like the wilds.
They're just,
Elementals.
If D&D players would, like Feywild would kind of think very, very similar to that. The land is very much alive and shifting and dominant. So this kind of I don't know. How would you describe the Eldrazi as best as you can?
So between all of the planes, because planeswalking worlds, is this thing called the Blind Eternities. And again, D&D players, Astral Plane.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Or for non-D&D players, space between planets. And the Eldrazi are entities that reside in concept form in the Blind Eternities. And anytime you see them on a plane, it is just a small manifestation of them. But they're like...
Their small manifestations
titans,
are... Yeah.
like beyond even what you would consider a titan in
they're world
Magic.
eaters.
Yeah.
Because-
they, in sanity,
They're
society...
they're like the Lovecraftian old ones to me.
Yes.
Very much so.
Exactly.
Yeah. And once they arrive to a plane, they start feeding on the mana.
Yeah, and
And
there's
Zendikar-
4 Titans, I think.
Yes.
Or 3, and then an unnamed one.
Yeah. The one we'll focus on here in a little bit is Emrakul. Emrakul is the one who lands on Innistrad. But
Yeah.
the Eldrazi are very drawn to Zendikar. Zendikar is very mana heavy. And it's, and they're like Galactus, and Zendikar is that tasty morsel that they just want to devour. So there is another. Is Nahiri from Zendikar? Is that her native world? No, she's from somewhere else. But she kind of adopted Zendikar.
Is she a core?
She's a core.
Aren't they native to Zendikar?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I think she sparked there and she stayed.
Yeah, because she's a core ally.
Yeah.
Is one of her original cards.
And she's so her, Sorin, and then a elder dragon named Ugin, who is the brother
Nicobolus.
of another big
They're
dragon,
twins.
Nicobolus. Yeah, they're twins. So is Ugin female or male?
Male.
Yeah,
They're twin brothers.
that's right.
You see that in core 19, core 20.
Yeah.
That was their focus arc.
Yeah. So the Eldrazi are coming to Zendikar, and they basically they team up because this is pre-mending. So mending in Magic was basically a way for the writers to make planeswalkers more relatable. Pre-mending, they were godlike, right?
Yeah.
You were as a player were the manifestation of a planeswalker, right? They kind of created the mending, so when they did stories and stuff like that, they were powerful. They're still very powerful Magic users who can jump around, but they're not near the level that they were.
They went from godlike to demigod.
Yeah. So at this time, Nahiri, Sorin, and Ugin are still that power level. They managed to trap the Eldrazi in Zendikar. And then they basically make a pact that should the Eldrazi ever escape, that they would all come back and put them back in prison so they don't threaten any other planes. And they all shake hands and go their separate ways, right? and during this time, like, Sorin and Nahiri were tight. Like, he took to her, and, she kind of looked at him as a father figure, and there was that level of trust. Well, Sorin goes off to do Sorin things. He goes off back to Innistrad to create Avacyn and the Hell Vault.
Yeah.
It was one thing that he did, and I think he pretty well stayed once he did that. The Eldrazi escaped their prison in Zendikar. And so Nahiri is trying to find everybody. Well, Sorin's not answering. Like, the Planeswalker cell phone. Like, Sorin's just ghosting her. She can't get a hold of him. Ugin is dead.
Yeah. Ugin got killed off in Khans of Tarkir.
Right, but he comes back.
He's still
He comes back later in the Tarkir block because Sarkhan
He's,
changes time and brings him back.
Yeah, and he's a spirit dragon at that point, not a physical
it's so
dragon.
weird. Anyway,
It's complicated.
we won't get down that rabbit hole.
He rides with Jace for a while.
Basically, Nahiri is like back on Zendikar, and she's kind of screwed. She finds other help, and
Gatewatch.
the Gatewatch.
That's really when they're introduced, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because it's Jace, Nissa, who's native to Zendikar, or
Liliana,
planeswalk there, Liliana,
Gideon, Chandra.
And then you've also got a few of the other ones that aren't like hardcore Gatewatch.
Yeah. So they trap the Eldrazi back again, and Nahiri's like, I'm gonna go find Sorin. What the heck happened? So she goes to Innistrad, and I'm trying to remember. She gets trapped. She goes to Innistrad to look for him. She gets trapped in the Hell Vault.
Doesn't he stick her in the Hell Vault because they fight?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
She shows up and tries to
She
kick
well
his
she
butt.
she shows up and says, "Hey, why didn't you answer?" And he's like, "Probably this thing, the Hell Vault. Like I can't."
Leave it.
Because basically part of creating Evison and the Hell Vault was also to keep other planeswalkers from finding Innistrad, because it's his.
Right.
He doesn't want to share it with anybody.
Right.
And he's like, and basically all of a sudden, he means it like he legitimately means I didn't realize you were contacting me. She kind of like calls him out and says, "No, you didn't answer."
Yeah.
And so they fight, and she's pissed. And
One
so
of the coolest arts I have ever seen
Yeah.
is her just flaming rocks.
yeah, she's a rock mage.
She's a
lithomancer.
Lithomancer.
And so he throws her in the Hell Vault. That's not going to make her any more angry. It's throwing her in a demon prison. And so when Avison goes in later, after all this, I guess Nahiri somehow finds a way to kind of get in her head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
She realizes Avison's Soren's pet.
Okay.
She's going to screw with him that way. And so they break out of the Hell Vault. Avison doesn't even realize Nahiri exists. Like, she kind of does it in a very sneaky way. Mm-hmm. They both get out of the Hell Vault. Now Avison starts kind of going a little nuts and basically just starts killing everybody that's not clean, not pure.
Yeah.
Like, to the very extreme.
Burn the heretic. The witch.
Pretty much. And nobody is.
And that card art too makes me so happy with the blackened wings as she's coming.
Yeah,
she was that pure white card, and then all of a sudden she's not.
Yeah, and
It's
then you flip it over and she's got like blood on her wings because she's the purifier now.
gorgeous.
And then she's also got kind of angel lieutenants, and there are some angel lieutenants that don't follow her. Then there's a whole battle. The Gatewatch shows up.
Yep, Jace comes for Liliana because she's got her mansion all set up.
Yeah, because
They play
Liliana.
chess.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Liliana's kind of taking residence in Innistrad because it's kind of her, it fits her theme,
And
right?
I think that ticked off Gissa and Drolf.
Yes.
And Gissa and Drolf were ticked at each other too.
Well, they're very adversarial siblings.
Yeah.
They compete.
And
She's like a traditional necromancer. He's more like a Dr. Frankenstein.
yes.
Okay.
He brings people back from the dead by reanimating them, like, through science.
Yeah.
His popular card is Stitcher Drolf.
Yeah.
And then she's Ghoul Caller Gissa.
Yeah.
Which we're actually getting new cards for them.
They're both getting new cards because
Except Drolf is dead.
that we know of.
Yeah. From what the card says, he's an undead.
Oh, is he? That's hilarious.
Makes me really happy.
So they all fight, and they figure out that it was Nahiri screwing with Avison. But at this point, Avison, she's kind of made her own mind up that she really just doesn't care. She doesn't want to be Innistrad's protector. So Soren ends up destroying her.
Yeah. And it kind of breaks him in the process.
Yeah.
Because she's the one thing that he cares about.
And during all this, there's an Eldrazi. And I'm trying to remember how Emrakul gets. Nahiri brings Emrakul, doesn't she?
In a roundabout way, I
Yeah.
think. I don't think she intended to bring Emrakul,
Yeah.
but it's one of those, like, she followed her through the blind eternities. And it messes with the angels. It messes with the entire balance of Innistrad. 'Cause
Right.
some of the angels even become, like, transformed into Eldrazi. There's a card where two of them, if you have both of them on the field, meld into one big angel that's got all the tentacles and stuff. Crazy.
They end up banishing Emrakul to the moon. To
They locked her in the moon.
Innistrad's moon, which is very important to Innistrad. That moon, like, they have werewolves.
Right.
A moon is very important in Innistrad. The day-night cycles in Innistrad. So that's setting up Midnight Hunt. We're fast-forwarding a little bit. Avison's gone. The day-night cycle, basically the nights are getting longer, days are getting shorter. It's almost like they're going into a winter. It's almost like Game of Thrones where you have they have long seasons, right? So now they're all trying to figure out how to regulate. So now that the Church of Avison is pretty much gone, because nobody believed, they worship this being that ended up destroying them, right? So they've kind of gone back to their more primitive religions, like witches and kind of nature and stuff like that. werewolves are kind of packing. There's new werewolves that are bigger and badder because I'm assuming it has something to do with the moon and the changes. The fact that there's an old one on the moon messing with stuff. So that's teeing up Midnight Hunt. This Innistrad's kind of a split set. So Midnight Hunt's coming first. Then in November we're getting Crimson Vow, which is setting up vampire stuff.
So excited.
It's really cool lore, and I recommend you check it out. Magic has actually done some really cool stuff as far as they really don't sell novels. They're not like GW. They basically, all their lore is either on their cards or they're in short stories on their website. So you can go to their website and you can just read to your heart's content. There's also a podcast. It's on SoundCloud. It's pretty much anywhere. A podcast called The Voice of All, and they actually do radio drama readings of the short stories.
And I know they also, for a while, were selling the novels of all of the short stories, like combined into a novel, because they did it for War of the Spark.
Yeah, and then they also will do PDF collections too of all the stuff. But so they're trickling out all the Midnight Hunt lore stuff right now, and I've started reading it. But yeah, there's a lot of story arcs and stuff. It's really cool. So even if you don't play Magic, I still think the lore is pretty deep in its own right.
I'm hoping with the double set too that they're going to do the same thing they're doing with Strixhaven, with Theros, Ravnica, and stuff, and turn it into a D&D set.
Yeah,
because they've been releasing those books, and so I'm waiting.
Yeah, my only thing with Innistrad is so similar to Ravenloft.
Yeah,
that it is like they're almost like part and parcel of each other. It does have its own kind of peculiarities. But I think, like I said, that plane shift document kind of spells out those differences.
That's
so
fair.
you could really take Ravenloft and kind of bring it over.
That's fair. Especially with the new Van Richten's guide to Ravenloft that came out.
That, and I heard players, come to find out, really don't care about actually being adventurers on Ravnica. Like, Ravnica doesn't lend itself to being that setting because it's just this guild-controlled giant city.
Yeah,
I think a creative GM could still make it work, right?
I played in a campaign, and it's one we would travel to and spend like, oh, hey, we need this information, this resource, and then we would leave.
Yeah.
And then we'd come back, and then we'd leave. It wasn't a stay and do things.
Yeah, it's so anyway, that's Innistrad. If you're local, we're doing our pre-release tomorrow night, and so it's $25 to buy your pre-release kit. You keep everything that's in the kit, all your packs, all your cards, and everything. Build a deck. Like we said, sealed is probably one of the easier limited formats next to Jumpstart. Technically, is a limited format.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I started on was the sets.
Just doing a sealed,
Pre-release.
And it's just a lot of fun. It's a good time, and we'll be up to kind of help you with it if you need help, and yeah. So there you go, Magic.
There you go.
So, moving on, this week, we got a trailer. Yes. And it was a really good trailer.
Yeah.
We got the trailer for the Hawkeye television series, which we got a date for it. It's pretty much Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving release.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll
November.
be late November. So it will overlap Spider-Man. Based on the episode schedule, Spider-Man will fall inside of Hawkeye.
Oh.
So that could be intentional.
I don't know. Black Widow fell inside of Loki.
That's true, but also Black Widow should not have fell inside of Loki. So they're it seems like they're more intentional about their dating at this point now. They're back to actually plotting the schedule, and so yeah, we get to see a lot of stuff.
There's so many little Easter eggs in it.
Yeah. He has hearing aids in. They're finally bringing the hearing impaired
I have been waiting.
arc into it. Pizza Dog is in there. A lot of stuff from the Matt Fraction run of
That was
Hawkeye.
such a good run too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so excited for the show.
They're using the logo from the Matt Fraction run, right? And I think it's great that it's taking a little bit more of a humorous tone, because that is Hawkeye, right? He's not serious all the time. He's super sarcastic and especially adding Kate Bishop onto it, which I think Haley Steinfeld's like the perfect casting for Kate Bishop.
agree.
Like, period. My eyes watering now. Sorry, allergies. Getting emotional about Hawkeye.
Pizza Dog.
And it's a Christmas show. Like
It's like it's going to be the new Die Hard, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every year, let's watch it for Christmas.
Yeah.
yeah, all 6 episodes. Let's just
Yep.
binge this, and then National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yep.
And then Elf. That's Christmas Vacation and Elf. Those are our
That's fair.
Our
Christmas
holidays.
Story. That's my Christmas
Crystal,
movie.
my wife cannot stand Christmas Story.
My wife doesn't either, but she watches it because it's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
She hates the Santa Claus in it.
Oh, yeah.
When they go to see Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho.
She hates that part.
We always watch the Santa Claus, so. And
Yeah.
the Nativity, but,
Yeah, I think
Tim Allen.
they'll watch the Santa Claus if it's on. I don't particularly care for it, but it's non-negotiable. We're watching Christmas Vacation on Christmas Eve, and then Elf is going to come on at least 5 times on some network
Definitely.
on television, and we'll probably watch it every time, and then we'll turn our version on because it's wonderful. So yeah, Hawkeye kind of set in Christmas in New York, which is fantastic. Not the first Christmas we've seen in the MCU. We actually see it in Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Very
I
briefly.
try to forget about that movie completely.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess technically Iron Man 3 counts as a holiday movie.
No.
Anything that involves Iron Man is an Iron Man movie
Right.
because it's all about him.
Man. Let's talk about these deep-seated issues a little more.
There's not enough room for Tony Stark and Jesus in one time period.
Or Santa or any of them. Yeah, the holiday was definitely not the focus in that film. It definitely looks like they're leaning into it a little bit more. Near as we can tell, his family, except for his wife, is in New York because you see them around a table. His wife's not there; it's just his kids. But then he talks to his wife on the phone later, so it's not like she's out of the picture, but she's just not there for some reason. So,
It's Die Hard meets Home Alone.
yeah, something. My guess is they probably just couldn't pin Linda Cardellini down to actually, so they just kind of wrote her that she didn't come on their family trip, which is weird. But we don't know quite who the big bad is yet.
So in that run of comics, there was no big bad. It was just the Russian mob.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. So it looks like Kate Bishop kind of dons, she takes over the Ronin persona at first.
It's like she's out doing her own thing.
Yeah. And basically draws his attention, but because she idolizes him, right?
Well, people
apparently people knew who he was.
It looks like people are coming after him, actually coming after her because she did take up that
mantle. Yeah.
Well, some of it looks like it's coming after him too from when he was Ronin. Because spoilers for Black Widow, we good?
Yeah. Yelena
I
Belova.
think Elaine will probably be associated with that somehow.
I'm pretty sure she will.
They've said she's in the series.
Yeah.
So whether or not she's a large part or kind of an afterthought, kind of like how Sharon Carter was in Falcon Winter Soldier, where she kind of pops in and out.
Yeah.
May not be the focus, but yeah.
Yeah, I think she's going to show up and they're going to fight, and it'll come out that he didn't actually kill her.
Yeah.
And then boom, West Coast Avengers.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And they're setting up another Avengers team. It's
yeah.
whether they're dark, whether they're Thunderbolts, whether they're West Coast, whether they're young, they're setting up an alternate team.
I'm wondering if we're getting multiples at this point with the whole Abomination Wong
We
thing
get
going on.
the Avengers Initiative, the actual what is it? Where the 50 states initiative, where there's a there's a superhero team in every state.
That'd be cool.
Not all of them were cool.
Well, yeah.
There were the Great Lakes Avengers. Ugh, had Squirrel Girl, and that was about it. What is it? I found there was a YouTube video that I found, and you could actually see somebody watching the test footage from the New Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
And Squirrel Girl was going to be in the New Warriors. She was played by the lady that plays the AT&T girl
Oh,
in the
yeah.
commercials. Yeah, and she had the gigantic tail and everything, was doing flips and stuff. It looked so bad. It did not look good. I mean, like I said, I'm watching a video of them watching the video, and you can kind of make out what was happening because that footage wasn't publicly released before it was canned. But yeah.
Sometimes those are the best movies, the ones that were never released.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or very limited release or whatever. Like the original Fantastic Four movie, and
It's so good. It's so good.
You say good.
So good.
You can say it's entertaining, but don't call it good.
That's fair.
Something can be entertaining, but can still be really bad.
Yeah. Now the David Hasselhoff
Nick
Nick
Fury.
Fury, that's fantastic.
Again, fantastically entertaining or a well-made film. You need to differentiate.
Isn't everything the Hoff in a well-made film?
He's really not a film star, really. He's more of a television star. More than anything.
Yeah.
Knight Rider and Baywatch were.
He was in
Oh, yeah.
SpongeBob the movie.
He was in Guardians 2 as well,
He was in Guardians too.
as himself-ish.
Kind of.
As Ego, as himself. So yeah, it's all falling in. Like I said, Hawkeye will run over Spider-Man, which we kind of got some Spider-Man kind of rumors dropped. Was it this week?
I saw today
That supposedly Venom does cameo in the Spider-Man
in an
movie.
after credit scene.
In an after credit scene.
Well, I heard that was based on the Venom, the new Let There Be Carnage pre-screening that people were doing.
An interview
Okay.
with the director and Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy kind of alludes to that he might be in an after credit scene.
Interesting.
Oh, sorry. I forget that if I don't click on the chat, it doesn't actually update on our confidence monitor. So my brother-in-law has been chatting this whole time. What up, Jay? Yes, he agrees with my wife that Christmas Story is bad. Like they've universally panned that movie.
love that
so we
movie
do not
so
watch it
much.
in our house.
I even have a lady leg lamp.
Really?
Yeah.
And honestly, I'll say I wasn't a big enough fan to fight my wife on it to watch it. So we don't watch it. It's Elf and Christmas Vacation. There we go. Yeah, wow, this makes a lot more sense as to why I wasn't seeing anything update. I forget that I have to click back on this thing because the way it
Yeah.
screen captures. Sorry. I could do it a better way. But anyway, so Spider-Man possibly seeing Venom.
That'd be cool.
You should throw that lamp away. Along with the drunk Santa Claus. Do you have a Red Ryder BB gun?
I do. I actually have a adult-sized Red Ryder BB gun.
Oh my gosh.
It's a full-size rifle.
You were just like in this.
And
aren't
then
you?
last year for Christmas, the kids got Red Ryder BB guns.
They're going to put an eye out.
10 out of 10. Best parenting. Best parenting right there.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Anyway, so this week's What If. So this is episode 7? Was this the 7th episode? 6th. Hold on. Captain Carter.
Thanos.
Not Thanos. I mean, it was Black
Guardians
Panther,
of
Star
the
Lord. It was
Doctor Strange?
no, it was the Avengers.
Kill them all. They killed
Yeah.
all the Avengers one.
Yeah.
Then Doctor Strange.
Then Doctor Strange.
Then zombies.
Zombies. So this is
This is
6.
6.
This is the 6th episode. Yeah. Thanks, Justin. They're doing a lot of setups. They're doing a lot of this is the teaser for the next season because that was definitely what this one was. So it was basically the alt arc where Killmonger saves Tony Stark from the Ten Rings. Yeah, and basically postures to kind of get into Tony's good graces and get his weapons and really make a play for Wakanda and everything. You really don't still at the end of this episode don't really know what his total long game is.
Yeah.
He is now the Black Panther. And it was a really good episode. I
didn't like it.
You didn't
I haven't
like it?
liked. Marvel Zombies is the only episode I've liked.
really you didn't even like Captain Carter?
It was okay.
I hated the zombies. I'm not a zombie person, though.
You're just you and Darren are just down on What If.
I just don't dig it. This
You
is
didn't like
just
the
not my
Doctor
cup of tea, I
Strange?
guess.
Yeah.
I hated the Doctor Strange episode. It was
Really?
depressing and
I liked it.
Doctor Strange was depressing though. It was
it was
I
dark.
like depressing, though, so
Which I mean, I'm watching the superhero stuff to watch with the kids, so
that's fair.
Doctor
Yeah.
Strange and zombies were not good choices.
I don't think this one would be good because it's just tonally, and I mean that's. I like that they're not all just one-offs. That they are setting up something they're setting up something bigger down the road. Not necessarily bigger, but they're gonna continue with these stories. Zombies. This was definitely the first part. This Killmonger arc was definitely the first part, because what this episode kind of alluded to is, what's going to happen when the Infinity stuff starts happening and there are no Avengers. There is no Tony Stark, right?
Well, is the Infinity stuff going to happen if Thanos isn't around?
The stones are still coming to Earth.
That's fair.
I guess I would like it more if they were just completely one-offs and weren't building towards something. Because we've already watched this story in the main universe, and I don't want to watch a bunch
We
of
haven't
build-up.
watched this story though.
Yeah, but I don't want. It's like the B team, man.
That's fair.
So
I'm wondering if it's going to tie into Spider-Man stuff, though, with the multiverse, or Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
I don't know.
Because they have talked about Captain Carter being in Multiverse of Madness. There's rumors
I
of
guess
that.
I just don't want to invest a bunch of time into alternate universes.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, and I think a lot of it is they're using this as a test bed to say, hey, what would be a fun, bigger story to tell in some other medium?
It's just like the Ultimate Comics,
Yeah.
which sucked also.
But they got Miles Morales out of it.
And that's the only thing.
Yeah.
But this is how, the MCU's Captain Carter's not going away.
No.
That character, you're already seeing her in other branding.
It's so dumb. Just actually do Captain Britain.
But that's a different character who has a different power set.
But it's not. They're different with different power sets, but it's the same archetype. It's
a hero. Yeah, they're all superheroes. They're all the same archetype then.
the outfit's almost exactly the same, just with a Captain America shield.
Captain Britain doesn't have a shield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
And he's got a cow. And he's magical.
And his
powers didn't
not
come
right
from
now.
science.
Oh.
Captain Britain is a
Psylocke. Is
Oh.
Betsy Braddock.
Okay.
Yeah, she's Captain Britain now. Yeah,
That's cool.
That's if you're comparing. Well, no, because she's still a mutant. So yeah,
It's the same.
They're totally different.
It's the same issue I have as when in the comics we start getting all of these alternate versions. Like when they my biggest example is Green Lantern. They just added another Green Lantern to have a different diversity.
Oh, John Stewart.
Well, not necessarily exactly John Stewart, but it got really bad in 2014 when they added like 3 Green Lanterns that year just to have different ethnicities.
Oh,
And it was ridiculous because if you're gonna don't make this character a copy of this character when you could just do the other character. So don't make this new character when you could just use this old character that is the same scope.
Or
Yeah.
make
If
an
you're gonna make a
original
new character, make a completely new character.
original.
Is what I'm saying.
okay. So to me, Captain Carter being in the main Marvel universe is no different than Miles Morales being in the main universe. It is similar power set, but just an alternate reality where this kid becomes Spider-Man. And now we have 2 Spider-Men in the main arc, and they're probably both super popular. I'm just saying.
I'm
It's
just
not
a
any
huge
different
fan
than
of
Miles
Peggy,
Morales.
So
And we have 2 Wolverines. We can have 2 Captain Americas.
but we don't.
But we
in the
already
MCU.
have more than one Captain Americas.
Yeah.
It's just they did it to have a female Captain America. Is what they did.
Okay. Done.
But don't do it just for
yeah.
the sake of having.
I think
diversity.
they're doing it just to keep Haley Atwell in the movies.
Well, then just do another prequel
Big
movie with
fan
Haley
of
Atwell.
Peggy.
Yeah. Anyway, what if? I'm not changing Tanner's mind. I think they're fun. Let's say that. I don't have a lot of expectations of I like anthology series. I like these little bite-sized stories. And if they continue on to the next series, then or next season, then great. We'll see where they go. But there's no doubt that they're using it as they're testing the waters. They're like, what are these stories? It's like throwing pasta against the wall. Something's going to stick.
Well, I heard
right?
an idea a while back. I don't know if they're doing it or if it was just somebody else's idea, but of having fan submissions for like what if universe. So like,
Yeah.
what if this happened? Some sort of question that people have.
Yeah, and I do know though that the showrunner for What If, he had a lot of constraints. Like he could not bring in existing Marvel characters that have not yet been seen in the MCU.
Yeah.
He can't do that. He can create original characters, and then he can use characters we've already seen, but he can't bring in like the X-Men or the Fantastic Four or
Which
anything
makes
like
sense.
that. I think you open up to fan submissions, that's probably all you're going to get for the most part. You're going to get people that this is how I'm going to bring the X-Men in, because everybody's a better fan fiction writer than Marvel. Everybody's a better writer than Kevin Feige essentially. So he's constrained, and maybe that's another problem with What If is, it's never going to be that. It was never going to be that story shift in the MCU, right? It was never going to affect anything in the main MCU greatly that we know of, and it was never going to introduce these characters. So it's just there to be this kind of interesting little thing to me. So I don't hate it. They haven't all hit for me. Like I hated the kill all the Avengers episode. That was so boring.
I didn't like the zombie one. I don't like zombies though, but there was also so many things like I was.
You have a zombie
how did
deck.
Yeah, I know. I don't like zombie visually. Like I don't like seeing somebody eat somebody else. It just messes with me. I have a zombie and vampire deck. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Don't question it.
Do you hate it like in like Pulp Fiction where like people land on cannibal islands?
Yes.
Cannibals freak you
There's
out.
a book out there that we had to process one day, and it's the first mature book I had to label. But they were like, look through this because it doesn't say mature on the back, but we think it might be. All it was people getting eaten.
Was it Eat the Rich?
No, this was a while back.
Okay.
I think it's called Cannibal or something like that.
Well, that should have been your red.
Yeah,
flag.
it was. It was.
Just saying.
But I was the only one around to do it. Anyways, that was terrible. But
Here,
I also
here,
don't
Michael. We need you to
understand-
read Carnal Confessions and tell me what's inside.
No thanks. I also don't understand how they still had all their powers. If you're a zombie, you're not going to have access to the high thought process magic.
They were
tech.
they were borrowing from the Marvel Zombies arc, which in the Marvel Zombies arc, they were still technically themselves. It's just the virus was basically piloting them.
Okay. I've
It's
never
a-
read the zombie arc because, again,
Yeah.
don't do zombies.
So it's a whole. And Marvel Zombies is basically there's a reality where it breaks out and they pretty much eat everybody. So the zombies are trying to find ways to get into other universes.
I really hope they don't do that with this.
I feel like if somehow, if Edna Molds was in that episode, she'd be regretting her no capes policy.
Oh gosh. Yes. On the table, the cloak of levitation is it's its own superhero.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've seen it in Endgame or Infinity War. Do cool stuff, and then now we've seen it in What If
I
doing.
mean, it saves Doctor Strange in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That's the first time we see it do its own thing.
Yeah. It keeps Thanos from snapping. It's a badass.
I do like the
For being
idea
a piece of cloth.
of Peter Parker having it, though. I think that
Being
combo
the
would
Spider
be
Sorcerer Supreme.
awesome. Like, I want to see that play out.
It would be a cool parallel to Iron Man Spider, which is kind of what we're seeing in the MCU right now, right?
Well, I'm hoping that if it does all tie into like Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange and stuff, that there might be a moment where Peter has the cloak, like in.
I mean,
He's supposed to have a
we may see it in No Way Home. So
He has a mystic suit in No Way Home.
yeah, it's like so. I read a thing like in the MCU, Spider-Man always has like a mentor to look at. So if it's not Tony, it's Nick Fury, and if it's now it's Stephen Strange. That he always has somebody he's looking up towards, and I guess at some point he needs to grow up. I don't know, be your own man. But I guess he turns into Tobey Maguire at that point.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I want to see maybe a mix between alternate timelines and like Clone Saga. I want one of the actors to end up being Ben Reilly.
Oh, yeah.
Just to keep him in the MCU, like have him be a clone of
Yeah,
Peter,
I
or
guess-
even be an interdimensional Peter and just take up a new identity in the new world or something.
That'd be cool.
A lot of it just depends on what Sony and Marvel can agree on, because technically they'd have to agree. They'd have to get Sony to agree to it because he's a Spider-Verse character.
Well, I guess we'll see if the rumors of Venom showing up are
Yeah.
true or not.
That's
fair.
fair.
That could be a lot of that too.
Yeah, but Venom's a bigger buy than Scarlet Spider. I mean, most
Right. So if they've already worked a deal for Venom, one of the little characters is
yeah. I think they're better off getting like
because Venom. I mean, Sony would be stupid not to make deals
yeah.
because it's just more money.
Yeah.
I think
You
it's
might have to even making money splitting the rights is better than making no money at all.
no. I totally
So-
agree. Like Sony needs to just ride the wave. Be like, you inherited a gold mine. Just stick with us, and we'll get you there.
Yeah.
You don't even have to. You can just take a nap.
Just
let us
slap
go.
your logo on the
Exactly.
front end of the movie. We'll call it good.
Yeah, they won't do that though. I mean, I say they won't. We probably. I mean, 10 years ago, we were probably saying no, we'll never see Spider-Man in the MCU.
Yeah.
and we did. So
That's fair.
there you go. So yeah, I like I said, I'm not down on What If. I think it's fun. I just didn't have a lot of expectations going into it.
Yeah.
Like I knew what it was going to be, and yeah, they're not all winners, but I think for the most part, it's a fun little animated show. I think half of the fun for me is as I watch it, just trying to figure out, is that the actual actor or is that a stand-in
yeah.
actor? And then I wait for the credits at the end to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I was right.
I do like, as I mentioned before, not a huge fan of Iron Man. I like that in almost all of these he's gotten killed off.
Yeah, he doesn't stick around in really any of them.
Nope.
But I think a lot of it is because they weren't going to nail down RDJ to do any voiceover, so you might as well make him more of a secondary character.
Well, either that, or if they are using this as a testing plot for future stories, we know he doesn't want to be involved anymore.
Yeah.
So why waste time exploring an Iron Man story?
Yeah, and just kind of rehash it.
And if they're introducing it into like the live action stuff, he's dead.
The one thing about this episode, I was like, it was kind of weird for them to throw it in. Like, it didn't seem super necessary that Queen Ramonda was Adora Milaje.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it.
Like, it's cool. I mean, that maybe she was one of them and now she's going to fight, but could you have not just kind of given all that kind of action sequence to Okoye, who's already an established one, and she's just with T'Chaka, watching everything because they're both old at that point.
My impression of that scene was them fighting together was how he gains the family's trust.
Okay.
Except for Shuri.
Here's the thing.
Shuri's
Shuri.
awesome.
Here's one thing that I don't know that has ever been explained. As long as T'Chaka is alive and was the king of Wakanda, why wasn't he still the Black Panther?
He was already not the Black Panther in the actual live
I
action
know.
movies.
So this goes back to the
Okay.
MCU. Why wasn't he still the Black Panther?
I think he retired.
But he was still the king. So when
Yeah.
it never really explains, is the Black Panther mantle. Well, I guess he gives it to Killmonger, and Killmonger's not the king yet. So it's not the mantle of the king.
No, it's like it's Wakanda's hero, protector.
Yeah. So
So-
okay, with that logic, why would you make your king that protector? He needs to be the king. And then you have a protector, so if the protector dies, then you're not kingless.
Or you don't potentially end up under a tyrannical, superpowered villain king
Like
that we might see in
Killmonger.
another episode next season.
that could be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like there was kind of a discontinuity because in my mind, in the comics, the king of Wakanda was the Black Panther. Like that was just, or the queen in Shuri's case. So I don't know. That was always kind of a weird disconnect that they never really explained
Yeah.
what it is. Because, like I said, in my mind, if he's just a protector but not the king, I wouldn't make my king the protector. That's just dumb politics right there.
My only guess is just to, having T'Chaka in the movies at all was just the reason to cause the conflict of the movie. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin. Yep. So,
I do think, though, it goes back to like classic literature. The king always leads his army into battle.
he didn't in this episode.
I know, but
Yeah.
like that's why for a while Black Panther was always the king,
And also, if I'm aging, you better be sure I want the heart-shaped herb.
right?
Because
And-
it would, like, make me stronger.
Can multiple people have it?
I guess it never really explains kind of the properties if it's kind of a zero-sum
Yeah,
type
because
mantle.
well, does Killmonger and T'Challa have it in?
Yes, they technically both do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't the kings just keep it
Right?
and give it to a new guy?
I'm just saying. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Which it's in the MCU now, it's finite. And we don't know really how that's gonna play out, because technically that's one thing that they're gonna have to let me click on that they're gonna have to explain if they do make a new Black Panther out of either Shuri or somewhere. Where are they getting the heart-shaped herb to do it? Because Killmonger destroyed it all.
I feel like Shuri's gonna like synthesize one, like a synthetic one.
Possibly.
The other tribe?
Did they have some?
No,
How-
I was
how
just
did
gonna
he-
make a
I'm
joke.
trying
They have a heart shaped tribe farm up in the mountains, hidden in the past.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
That'd be cool.
Because I'm trying to go back. It's actually been a while since I've watched Black Panther. I'm trying to remember how. Oh, it's because. Yeah, how T'Challa
They smuggled one out
they did before he torched it. That's
because
right.
they
That's
were
right. That's
planning
right.
on giving it to somebody.
M'Baku.
I think it was going to be an offering for M'Baku, and then
Yeah.
he was like, "No, your
Yeah.
king is right there,"
That's right. That's right. That's right.
because M'Baku had taken on T'Challa and came pretty close to
Yeah.
winning.
That's right. That's right. That it's all coming back to me now. So, yeah, I thought it was cool. Like I said, I'm curious to see where they take that arc, because I mean, my gut tells me he's gonna basically screw over the royal family and take the throne for himself and accomplish what Killmonger from the comics had intended to do.
Yeah.
All along, is basically create the African master race, right? Or master civilization. So, yeah. So the only episode that we've seen teased that we haven't seen yet that I know of is the Ultron Infinity. So they're in the What If poster, you see a version of Ultron holding the Infinity Gauntlet. But he looks like the Vision. So he's kind of like in his vibranium body. But he's got the Infinity Gauntlet. And you see Gamora next to him. So yeah, we have.
That's
so
gonna be good.
How many episodes are in the season?
I thought it was a 10 episode
Okay.
run. I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was slated for 10 episodes.
It's longer than most of the MCU ones.
Well, but these are 30-minute shorts too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
So the shorter the episode, generally the bigger the run, because WandaVision was 8,
Yeah,
but they weren't full hour long.
makes sense.
Not all of them were. They were, and that's one good thing that Disney Plus has done, is because they're not broadcast over like network, they can do whatever they want, episode lengthwise.
I'm wondering if they'll ever run them as like specials on Disney Channel.
I when Disney Plus first launched, 9 episodes,
9 episodes. Okay,
Yeah.
so we got 3 more.
3 more. I initially I wondered, but there's been a lot of Disney Plus content that
Never
they keep
see.
there because they're making money off of it. And they're going to continue as long as there's exclusive content to it. And I think if they start putting it on their other apps and stuff, then that becomes alternate ways for you to get content. And
I just wondered if they'd put like one episode on there and as a teaser, go watch it on Disney Plus. Kind of
they
thing.
may after it's aged quite a while, right? And
I think cable's going to die.
it's kind of headed that way, that traditional network broadcast. That's why you're seeing all these big media conglomerates launching their own. So, Time Warner had HBO Max, Paramount Plus,
Prime.
yeah, all. Hello, there we go. Headphones. I hit the cord and I couldn't hear anything anymore. I think that's what they're prepping for, right? Is they're done with, because you're seeing it in like telecom companies, like most of your fiber internet companies, they're not offering video packages anymore, like your cable company would have.
Yeah.
Because there's no money in it.
You're going to have your diehard older people that don't want to change. And as they die out, I think it's going to go away.
Yeah. And you're still going to need television for like rural areas and stuff that have crappy internet and stuff like that. So satellite's going to persist a little bit. But yeah, I think in 20 years that what we are used to as far as cable television or over the air is it's just going to be different. It's going to exist for sports, sports and live events, news and weather and stuff like that. I think it'll exist in some form, but it being IP based is like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because IP video streaming technology has gotten so much better and more reliable over the years. So even though American broadband internet's still tragically behind other countries. Yeah. Which is totally wrong. Totally flipped backwards. Anyway, I digress. So, anywho, that's pretty decently long episode. Yeah, we've been on for an hour. Look at us. Talking all about the stuff. Anywho, thank you so much for joining us for episode 37 of the Unknown Comics Podcast. Again, we'll be back next week for another episode live on Thursdays if you want to watch us live. But then again, you can also catch us on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts. We're going to be live on Twitch starting this Tuesday.
This upcoming Tuesday.
This upcoming Tuesday starts the Hobby Hangout. Then Wednesday, we've got the Comic Chat. And then Friday, Magic Live. So, and of course, Magic Live starting tomorrow. So, anywho, we had a great time. And we hope you have a great evening. Bye.